brother. There we go. Turn off the music so I don't get a copyright alert. Yeah. Right about now, you should turn off the music.
Yeah, right about now I did. Funk Soul Brother.
Well, welcome, folks. You found us live upon the interwebs.
Right about now.
Yeah. Hey, how about if we do a podcast? We've got a couple of people listening.
Hi, people listening.
Several people emoting.
Right on.
So let's play some music right about now. I started off, and somebody else ends it down the road. And here we go. Come on, recorder. And here we go. Well, there it is. You found us on a Thursday evening. Welcome to Caching in the Northwest. This is the only podcast dedicated to geocaching in the Great Pacific Northwest. We're going to talk about caches and cachers unique to this little corner of the country. So make a list and check it twice. It's time to go caching in the Northwest.
That's right. It's time to bring in our well-rested monkey. We missed him last week. Some say he demands a no-fly zone from NATO when looking for an FTF, and others say he's turned down more sponsorships than Wayne Gretzky. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
Hey, well, right about now, it's time to bring in yet another Funk Soul Brother to the show. So let's get rolling with this. And we want to, of course, thank all our Funk Soul brothers and sisters who are listening to this show. And welcome back. We also want to thank our Denali level supporters. Very funky, very soul-y. Limax and the Mountain Vernon Parks and Rec Department. And hey, if you want to know more about supporting the show, click the Patreon link on the CachingNW.com website. And folks, tonight we are going to talk about using lists. Wow, that sounds terribly fascinating, but actually it is cool. It's cooler than it sounds, so just hang tight. And remember, guys, if you have glows, if you like the glow segment of our show, we need them. So please send in your glows. If you like this segment, even if you don't like this segment, send them in anyways. And remember, GLOW stands for Geocaching Log of the Week. It's our little way to try and encourage people to write more inventive, creative, and just generally fulfilling geocaching logs.
That's right. We don't care if you wrote it or not. Maybe you read about it while researching one of those difficult to find caches, or it was submitted on one of your very own caches. We want to hear about it. Send an email to feedback@cachingnw.com. Call into 253-693-TFTC, or use that funky, cool voicemail tool right there on the website and show us how you glow.
Oh, that tool is funky and cool. Tonight's glow comes to us from B. Pendragon, who says hello from Milwaukee in the chat. And yes, you too could join in the chat. Go check it out live if you're joining us live. B. Pendragon found unknown cache 7th FTF word search puzzle. That's a mouthful right there. It's GC6 Papa 98 November. He says, first to find with Die Monkey after a gaming podcast. Thanks for the find. The log reads, it wasn't exactly a park and grab, though, and I'm glad we went at night when it was cooler. When we first pulled up, it looked like it was going to be in the lamppost. There was a muggle sleeping in his car nearby, so I figured I'd grab it, bring it back to the car, and sign it. I think he means the cache, not the lamp pole. When I first lifted the skirt of the lamppost, I saw what in the dark looked like a small burlap sack. I thought to myself, second one of three, that's not like you. You know that fabric will get wet and wrecked with the mildew once fall rolls around. I went to grab it, and it crunched down like a wad of paper. Interesting, my inner monologue said. Wouldn't the CO clean out something like this while placing the cache? Then I went and made my final big mistake. I started sliding my fingers along the underside of the lamp skirt. Another papery mass fell out, but this one was different. For one thing, I could see the simple yet regular hexagonal cell structure. Uh-oh. For another, I saw several pairs of compound eyes looking at me with a look that said, "Oh, no, you did not. Prepare to have everything you've ever loved messed with as you experience the agony brought down upon you by the fury of 1,000 suns." You know, the standard paper wasp look. I went and noped back to the car quickly, adrenal gland dumping epinephrine into my system. Fortunately, because it was a bit cooler, the wasps were sluggish and I was able to get away with only my dignity taking a hit. Die Monkey and I then continued to search. We found the cache and proceeded to drop it and almost lose it, but we found it again, signed it, and replaced it as it had been. According to my Garmin 235 watch, my heart rate spiked to 150 beats per minute for about a minute. So he finishes off with, avoid the lamp post. There be wasps.
Nice.
Wow, 150 beats a minute. That's a pretty good workout.
Yeah.
That's great. Nice glow log. Definitely glow worthy.
Very good. I'm hoping the muggle sleeping in the car with his windows shut.
Could have been an interesting show.
Oh, Wasp got to go after somebody. They don't care who.
That's right.
Wasp got a bee.
Oh, Wasp got a bee. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, do you know what's coming up?
No. What's coming up?
Lots of things.
Christmas.
The after show.
Ooh.
The
like the
after show.
We're going to have an interesting after show tonight. I'll tell you that much because I know what one of the things we're talking about.
Oh, I love Google.
Halloween?
But we're not talking about
kind
Google.
of, in a way.
I mean, that's what's coming up, right? Halloween.
Halloween, yeah. Well, almost Halloween. But
All Saints
first,
Day?
We're going to talk about the GIF. It could be GIF, it could be GIF, but we're going to offend some and honor others by saying GIF. That way, everybody's at an equal level of offensiveness. From finding new favorite places, people, and puzzles, geocaching is full of story-worthy moments. The trick is to capture them on film. On November 3rd through 7th, 2016, that's right around the corner, folks, thousands of geocachers will take part in a global geocaching movie night. GIF 2016, or GIF 2016, the reel will contain an hour of carefully selected finalist films made by geocachers for geocachers. So start looking at the events that are popping up. You're going to want to attend one of these great GIF events in your area.
Absolutely. And yeah, I would say films made by geocachers for geocachers with only organically grown geocachers.
Ooh.
I'm pretty
Nice.
sure.
Are they gluten-free?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure most geocachers are gluten-free.
Okay. Well, good.
All right. Well, on other topics of things that are coming up, and this is actually coming up, I believe, before the GIF weekend.
Yes.
It's we have received a bulletin. Beep 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 beep. Breaking news coming in. An urgent message from the ghost of unfound caches.
Ooh.
Scary. Ooh, 3D monster horror chill theater. All right. The Haunted Hide souvenir is more than a souvenir for your geocaching profile. It is an attempt to contact you from the other side. I'm not sure what the other side of.
The rest of your bear.
Yeah. the other side of the road.
Oh, okay.
The other side of the tracks, other side of the room. B side. All right. Anyways. So to thank you for its freedom, the Ghost of Unfound Caches has hidden a secret password within the souvenir. There'll be a link to enter the secret password to reveal your ghostly gift. But first things first, you'll need to unlock the Haunted Hide souvenir by finding a geocache or attending an event between October 29th and October 31st. And good luck with that. Oh, no, sorry. It says best of luck.
Yes,
Sorry, I misread that.
Good
All
luck with that.
It's all in the intonation, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, really. It is.
What better way to earn the Haunted Hide souvenir than with a creepy cache? And there's another link to check out Geocaching HQ's list of the world's most haunted hides. Then create your own list of haunted hides and share them with your own friends using the new My Lists beta on geocaching.com. And we're going to talk all about that shortly. But so I guess what we're talking about here in this news story is another release from geocaching.com that over the weekend of October 29th through 31st, the Halloween weekend, as it's known, if you find a geocache or attend an event during that period, and then you go and that will give you the Haunted Hide souvenir. And then if you examine the Haunted Hide souvenir, apparently somewhere in there is a secret password that will give you a ghostly gift of some sort.
Very cool.
Could be ghastly.
Could be ghastly. Could be hideous, but it's probably not.
I hope it's not.
Could be phantasmal.
Ooh.
And I could have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
It's always the meddling kids. You got to watch the meddling kids.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you made a little reference there to a new My Lists beta, as I recall. And, you know, inquiring minds want to know just what exactly My Lists beta is or are.
Could it be beta?
I suppose it could be. I've never said it that way, but
okay.
At any rate, if
Beats.
you're interested.
Bears.
Ooh.
Battlestar Galactica.
Premium members, you know who you are, can now easily edit, share, and organize lists of geocaches. Geocaching.com enhanced the feature to make planning your geocaching adventures easier. With My Lists, that's not My List, that's the name of the service, you can sort geocache lists by list name, number of caches, list status, and last modified. You can toggle list notifications on and off, and you can set those lists as public, private, or shareable. Now, they note My Lists is in beta, meaning it's still a work in progress. And you know what that means? That means they're not responsible for any bugs, but they could last forever, just like Gmail. It also means it's a great time to get your feedback. Coming soon, create new lists or add geocaches to existing lists from the map and geocache listings.
There you have it. List. We're going to talk more about lists.
Yes, let's do that. We'll list some things about lists.
Ooh.
Yes. Well, what kind of lists? A shopping list?
To-do lists.
Christmas list?
Bucket lists. All right.
I don't know. I'm out of list.
Okay.
Hit list.
There you go. Well, folks, my good compatriots on this podcast, how was your past week or 2 weeks, really, since I've talked to you guys in the geocaching, or as I like to say, or other outdoor activities?
Outdoor activities. I don't know.
They don't let us out much.
No, they
No?
don't. No.
Short leash?
Yeah. Well, let's see. Did I tell you about the Auburn GeoCoin Challenge 2016?
No, I knew you guys were going, and I didn't have a chance to talk to you about how that went.
I was able to hook up with Buddy and Kitsy Meow and rode along. We did 20 caches in a reasonable amount of time. And all fun was had by all.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was during the windstorm of the century, as I recall.
Yes. Yes. The storm of the century rolled in.
Yeah.
And leaves were blown about.
Well, I'm glad you survived.
Yeah.
There was still a good turnout. They, they expected. Well, they ran out of coins last year in July, which isn't bad.
Yeah,
So they ordered. They had 200. They ordered 300 this year, expecting more. But I think the fear of the storms drove some people away. But the caches are there. You can get them anytime throughout the year. And you can get them even while perhaps there's still a coin available.
Well, that would be smart.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're going to do them, why not get a coin?
Exactly.
Sounds like good advice.
Following the great tradition of geocache podcast hosts, I did not geocache this week. Check. Land Monkey, you?
Well, actually, while we were away, so yes, we did miss last week's podcast because we were headed over on a hashtag geocache road trip.
Oh, island hopping were you?
We were island hopping. So we're actually having our second Thanksgiving that we have over on Vancouver Island with family. and took the opportunity to also head up more towards the Comox on the way to Campbell River area, and took a schwack at some geo art over on the island. It's called the SAR series or SAR series. It's a geo art of a search and rescue helicopter. It's pretty cool. Oh, nice. And basically the caches are lining a bunch of FSRs and spurs off the FSRs. So just drove those for a few hours and picked up a handful of caches and had a good time. I think we did do a live stream, a Periscope while we were out there, just to show folks who maybe haven't been out that way what the roads look like and what the scenery's like.
There are roads out there?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Very cool. Yeah. Always good to spend time with family. But wait, you said you extended Canadian Thanksgiving over more than one day?
Can you imagine?
And somebody else can't extend this other thing for... Never mind.
Ay.
What can I tell you, man? I guess the land monkeys are just nicer than geocaching.com. I don't know.
Comments in this podcast do not reflect the...
Wet Coaster says, gee, a whole weekend for something that happens on Monday, but only a single day set aside for an Earth Cache souvenir.
Exactly.
Cheers, my friend.
Yes, we know.
All right. So that's what we've all been up to. But hey, how about lists? Let's get into tonight's topic here.
Well, I think we should. GC or geocaching.com has spent a lot of time on lists lately. Now, bookmark.
You could say that they're listing.
They're listing to one way or another. There really are no more bookmark lists. They're just lists. Watch lists still exist, and they're completely separate. But I think that'll be merged into lists, and I think we'll just have lists of different varieties. But you can go on the website and create a list. Now, this is only for the website. And this is for the old web page, not the new web page that just got released. And I really didn't see a way to add a list on the new web page. Now, I'm sure that will change, but as it stands right now, if you want to make a new list, you're going to have to use an app, or you're going to have to go back and use the old web page and make a bookmark list.
Right. So you bring up a good point. So when you go, if anybody goes and logs into geocaching.com, if you haven't done it yet since they've added this feature, and you go to the lists section, it'll bring up the page that, just as you've always seen it, but it'll have a banner across the top that says, click here if you want to see the beta, want to see the new lists. And that banner stays at the top and flips around, so then you can then go back to the old one if you're struggling with it. Alternatively, you can also hit a big feedback button and tell them, how the heck do you add a new list on this web page?
I think there'll be a new Facebook group to turn back to the old list.
I got to say, I actually like the new list page. I just wish that they had put something obvious at the top of the page that's like create a new list.
Big plus sign?
Yeah, there's something. Because I do like what they've done. I think it's great. I've played around with it a little bit, and I think it has a lot of good opportunities to work with it. I do like the fact that they've aligned it with their app, so that there's a nice transparency between either interface. Not that I really honestly use their app much, but the more features they load into it, the more likely I am to actually use it. But I would say that definitely they need to have that feedback of having some way to add a list on the new page. Otherwise, you have to go back to the old page to create a list.
Right. You have to go back to the old page, or perhaps they're trying to change our thinking.
I don't like people trying to change my thinking.
What if it's more efficient?
It doesn't matter. No. I'll come to that conclusion myself eventually.
If it's not his idea, he's not going to like it.
If you go to the search page and search for anything, and you select at least one geocache by hitting the checkbox, a new feature pops up that says, add this to a list. And it allows you to create a new list right there, or add it to an existing list. And it will add the first 1,000 caches to a new or existing list for you.
1,000 should be enough.
You would think.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, that's the biggest
640
pocket
isn't
query
for
you can
anyone.
make. So I would imagine that's why they've gone with that number.
Yeah, and I think when you start getting over 1,000, then you're talking storage on your device and all sorts of fun things that could come into play. So,
That's true.
and really, when are you going to go out and find more than 1,000 caches?
In a day? Yeah, probably not.
In a lifetime? Oh, wait.
Depends on the cacher, I guess.
For the land monkeys, that's about a year. Maybe not.
Maybe a month.
All right. Anyways, so bookmarks. We talked about.
I'm
that.
sorry, what? Those
Yeah.
don't exist anymore.
So we don't have that.
We have lists.
We have lists and lists of lists. All right. Yeah. So you walked us through how we create those. That's awesome. There's 1,000 in there.
And us old folks are going to have to remember that lists are not pocket queries.
Okay.
Now, rumor has it that pocket queries are going away and lists are replacing them. And really, it makes sense from a server side to offload all that listing aggregation to other devices, especially as user counts go up. More and more people are accessing it. That server load becomes higher and higher. They have to invest in more and more metal to get that running, and well, that costs money.
Right. I see where you're going with that. Or even if it's cloud based, it's still going to cost money.
Right.
Yeah. Thoughts. I guess we're just going to have to get used to it. And definitely, I have also heard rumors that pocket queries are going to go away in favor of lists. I think it's just, again, it's that little bit of a paradigm shift. You get so accustomed to doing things in a certain way, and you build your workflows around your geocache or hashtag geocache road trip planning, etc. And you want to have your pocket queries all ready, and you download your pocket queries and you're all ready to go. So yeah, things are going to change. So I guess we'll just have to learn how it's changing and figure out new ways to work with it.
You're like an old person.
I'm not as cantankerous as I normally am.
Oh.
Well, I know I haven't used pocket queries as much since, smartphones and mobile data has become so much. When we started geocaching, at least when I did, I remember I had my pocket queries come in via email every week, sometimes a couple times a week. I had little batch files set on my computer that I would drop them onto to convert them over to my Mapopolis files and dump them onto my Dell X and Pocket PC. And, well, I'd go out and geocache offline all the time. That was the only way to do it. There was no checking the recent logs online, going to, a browser. But since I can just pull it up now and go, gee, I wonder what caches are nearby, I haven't used pocket queries a lot myself.
I make huge use of pocket queries, so it's going to be a tough adjustment for me.
Interesting. I don't use them anymore, but I looked and I still have them all set up. You can only have so many per day, 10 per day. So I did all the cities nearby that I would go visit and scheduled those out throughout the week so that I would always, have this stream of new caches coming in. But, I don't even look at them anymore. I should go remove them.
Well, one of the features I'm going to miss, and I'm really interested to see how they're going to deal with it, is the caches along a route feature. For my hashtag geocache road trips, I find that a super useful feature, and I have tons of lists that were generated that using that feature that are then pumped to pocket queries. But I'm not sure how that's. Well, I guess they do start out as lists, and then they turn into pocket queries. So I suppose you can still do it that way. Yeah, it's it's going to be a change, and we'll have to work through it.
Yeah, I think there'll still be a way to accomplish what you're doing there. And like Chris mentioned, I've done the same thing. I've had queries set up to come week after week, and I don't need that anymore. And you just delete the email when it comes in. But like he mentioned, there's overhead and load on a server somewhere that generated that, even though I'm not using it. And how many thousands and thousands of pocket queries out there that the servers are churning away to generate that just wind up going into the recycle bin, never even get used. So having a list or something more on demand than just wasting all those CPU cycles seems to make sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In the chat, B Pendragon says, I also just logged cache number 950, a webcam on Lake Michigan, Shore, Milwaukee. Thanks, IHAM, for helping me get it.
Awesome.
So we talked about 1,000. He's coming up on 1,000.
Yeah. Like 6 months away.
Yeah. That for us.
Yeah.
Wet Coaster wants to know, how many caches can you put in a metric list? Well, and that is 1,000. 1,000 in the metric list, 1024 in an imperial list.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Oh, wait, I'm an imperialist. Right.
A lot of Canadians are imperialists too.
Oh, yeah, they are.
So, although there are a couple other good questions there in the Q&A or the chat. Oh, that's going to take me a while to stop calling it.
I know.
You guys have an extra week of training on that than I do. But the White Coaster asked, how do you download large numbers of caches to GSAC now? And I would say that probably isn't going to change terribly, but the workflow would basically be you just do a search on the new search feature, and you click the button to drop it into a list, and then you download that list.
You can create a pocket query from the list on the website only.
So while pocket queries still exist, yes,
Right.
you can do that.
Right. So, I mean, it's interesting what you can do with the list. And these things that you can do with the list are only on the website. I haven't seen them in an app. Now, I haven't checked out every app. I did pull up CacheBot, and that goes, I don't know what to do with the list, and I can't get to your pocket queries. No good for you. I pulled up Cachely, and that can get to pocket queries, and it can get to list, but they're not together. And I pulled up the Geocachinger app, and it mixes list and pocket queries together as if they're one big happy family. So, interesting.
It is interesting, yeah. And I did similar experiment on the Android platform and found CGO, which has always been really good with lists and pocket queries. You still work with it the same way you always did. But I think one of the things I'm thinking about there that White Coaster brought up is, the workflow when you're used to running pocket queries and dumping pocket queries and putting them onto your GPSR as GPX files. I want to know if lists are going to be able to do that same function, because if I can't download a list and then put it onto my GPSR now, or not now, you still can now, but in the future, that's going to be a problem.
Right about now, my funk soul brother.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to hear what they're going to do with respect to that. And I think that's something that I'm probably not alone. But what else do we have? There's another one. Startcacher wanted to make a suggestion that they add a flag to hide a list from the list of lists. And
List.
But I get why he's asking that, because there's a lot of challenge caches that ask you, I need you to, create a list of the caches that help you meet this challenge, include this cache itself in that list. Otherwise, we're going to delete your log. I don't know how long you really have to keep those around for, but at least, a couple months. And if you could, so I get why he doesn't necessarily want to delete them, at least not right away, but those can kind of clutter up your list O lists. So if there's a way to sort of flag them as challenge lists or something like that, so it just got tucked away in some sub area, that would be handy.
I just went to the geocaching.com search page and looked for favorite caches near me. Came up with 32,000. Right, so I can add 1,000 to a list. I could go to each individual one and say add this to a list, but I can't download all of them at one time.
You got a lot of really good caches right near you.
Yeah.
32,000.
You should come down here.
Yeah, no kidding.
The first one has 3,416 favorite points. So we've all been there. Geocaching headquarters.
That makes sense.
The next one, is the telephone booth nearby that only has 2,000 favorite points.
The Golgafrinchian
Mm-hmm.
telephone sanitizers cache.
Ode to the Golgafrinchian phone workers, yes.
That's the one. I like that one.
So, yeah, I mean, you can add them to a list. Then you've got to create a pocket query from the list. I think it's an extra step, but I think it's moving people away from pocket queries.
Right. Yeah, clearly that seems to be what's going on there.
Yeah.
All
So,
right.
Wits End, what are some of the things you can do with all these lists that you've created?
Oh, what can you do with them?
What can't you do, really?
Well, I can't do much with them,
Yeah.
personally. But what else can you do? Find the list icon, menu selection. Where are we? You could add or edit lists.
Look for a big red WE.
Huh? Hey, how about there? How about if I scroll back up?
Okay.
We are professionals.
You are. I'm a hack. So what can you do with them? Well, you can share them with selected people. You don't want to go sharing your lists with just anybody. Be selective about who
Who
you share your
knows
list
what
with.
they're going to do with your
That's
list.
right.
Yeah.
You can make it public, which kind of goes against what I just said about sharing your lists with people.
But you could.
But you could.
Only
Just
if you're old
saying.
enough.
You rebel.
That's right. You can you can get a notification when caches are logged.
Caches within your list.
I would assume that's what it means. And for the time being, as we've been saying, you can create a pocket query. For now.
For now.
And these lists, the lists that are neither shared nor public, can only be seen by you, the list
Me?
creator, the list owner, the list manager, the list serve. Or no. You'll see them on your bookmarked lists page and on each geocache page that is bookmarked.
Listmeister.
That's right.
Listczar.
Meister list.
It's time for that, isn't it?
Mm.
There's a very special list.
Is there?
It's called the ignore list.
Ooh. I like the ignore list.
Now, Wits End just put us on the ignore list.
Yeah. Talk to the hand list. Okay.
The ignore list is permanent and cannot be deleted. You can empty it, but the list itself will remain.
Ooh.
So, interesting. You know, I looked, I don't have any caches in the ignore list anymore. I did for a while. There was a dive cache that was the closest unfound one to my house, and it annoyed me. So I put it on the list, on the ignore list. I don't want to see you ever again.
Can you put cachers on the ignore list?
You're stuck with me. Sorry.
Oh,
We can't talk about that here.
okay. Sorry about that.
Oh, there you go. So we talked a little bit
Pass.
about the different apps, geocaching or app, Cachely app, or really anything with a live API. Just
CGO.
go- yeah, no, CGO does not.
It doesn't use the live API, but
Right.
it still works for this stuff.
Just go find the list icon or menu selections, bookmarks, and Cachely, perhaps. They may or may not be listed with pocket queries. Did we mention this is a premium only feature?
I think we did. If
How
we didn't,
selective.
it's important to know.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's a good reason to pony up a few bucks a month and help out geocaching.com so they can go buy new servers and keep the pocket queries running for us. You know, the ones we don't use and throw away. But we're paying for it, so I want them.
That's right, man.
It's the American way. Those Canadians are too polite to do anything like that. Now, bookmark lists with over 1,000 geocaches will not open. And I don't know how you could get a bookmark list with over 1,000 geocaches in it, because I thought that was the limit.
They said they won't make any. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I guess that's fine then. It's not really a problem.
yeah. And interestingly enough, all archived geocaches in the list will appear in the app, but you'll have an archive note. You won't be able to access the archived cache page.
So what's the point?
I don't know.
Why would you want a list of archived
Well,
caches?
maybe
I suppose if you had a list of, never mind, go on.
if you're going back to start cachers,
Right.
you know, being able to hide the list from the list, Yes, I found it. It is now archived, and that qualifies me for this challenge cache.
Yeah.
Okay.
I imagine that's probably where that came from.
So,
all right. Well, any experience with adding or editing lists from an app?
well, now that you mention it, right about now, all
Yes,
I
Funk
can
Soul Brother.
see is that the geocaching app will allow you to create a new list. I don't see it on the other apps. But as always, you can create one on the website, on the old web page, not the new web page.
Or from the new search page.
Or from the new search page. When you're on an app, you can add caches from the map to a list. You can go to the list, you can remove caches, or you can delete the entire list.
Unless it's your ignore list.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's that. The ignored list does not show up on the geocaching app. Shows up in Cachely.
Yeah, I noticed that. That was really interesting.
So we've got a great lesson here in, non-congruity.
Incongruity?
No, non.
Okay.
It's incongruent with congruity.
Okay.
Well, all right. Well, one of the features is definitely the downloading the cache data from lists for offline use. I noticed that on the app that it's actually an option. Most lists, when you pull them up, you basically have, if you click on it, you have two options on the list. And one of those options is to download it for offline use. Have you played with that yet?
No. But isn't that what a pocket query is?
Yeah, effectively, but I don't know how it's downloading it. So I don't know if it's actually downloading it like a GPX file, which would be a sensible way.
Right. So,
but then you can only do that on the app. I think. I don't know if you can do that on the website. I haven't tried. I'll have to check that out. Because then that would answer my earlier question if you can do that on the website. Because I'd hate to have to pull up the app, download it off the app, then email the file to my PC off my phone so that I can load it onto my GPSR. That would actually be a giant pain in the ass.
I can share, create, or delete this or this list. I'm sorry. I can create a pocket query. I said create. That was the improper term. I can delete the entire list. I can create a pocket query. I can download to LOC, and I can do a bulk delete if I edit the list. So, yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Definitely, I want to hear back from other people, their experiences working with this and what they think.
We have some news for the after show, but that's the after show.
Okay.
So, this is great if you're planning to be out of cell range or visiting another country.
The downloading the cache data. Yes.
Yeah, downloading the cache data.
Yep.
Right. So you're in a hotel, you download you can download up to 1,000 caches. That should keep you busy for the rest of the day.
Yeah. Should
while you're out and about. Mm-hmm. Maybe you just want to save data data on your mobile data plan.
Mm-hmm.
I assume 1,000 caches, data for 1,000 caches. It's not like the fury of 1,000 suns. But that's got to use a good chunk of data.
Hey, I have a question. Geocaching.com, the geocachinger app, does it have offline maps yet?
I think they just added that.
Do they? Okay, because otherwise this feature is pretty much useless. If you don't have the offline maps, but you offline the caches, so you have to have both, right? Oh, you're checking it live here?
I'm checking live, yes.
All right.
I don't see a way to do offline maps. If I can save it. Yeah.
I thought I heard that was coming, but I haven't seen it in the app myself, at least not easily or obviously. So
I do know they've added trail maps and such. They've done some mapping work and I can't remember what all the options were. Let's see. Trails. Oh, no, Trails is just an OpenStreetMap options. No, I don't see offline map.
Right. So my point being that, okay, you can save some data by downloading your lists of caches offline, but you still need data because your maps aren't offline. So you're saving data, but you can't cache offline.
With the geocaching app.
With the geocaching app.
Now, can you tell it to use an external application to navigate? Because I know that I can mark Google Maps on my phone to save offline data, and then just have the app point to that.
Yes, you can. You can tell it I want to go to Apple Maps, geocaching, or Google Maps, or Waze.
I don't have the Apple Maps option on my phone.
This sounds a lot more complicated than it needs to be.
No, I mean, so you click a whatchamacallit thing. No, you just have Maps and Waze. Sorry. Like Waze and Means. So you can go to Waze or you can go to Apple Maps. Now, I know, like you said, with the geocache, or with the geocache, I'm sorry, I've got my G's messed up. With Google Maps, you can download those, and we just talked about it on GeoGearheads. It's only good for about 90 days. Those maps will then expire and go away, which is plenty of time if you're traveling in another country. If you're traveling for more than 90 days, take me along with you.
If you're traveling for more than 90 days, it's probably called moving.
You're living there now, okay? Pay taxes to that country.
File a change of address.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you won't be able to do it, obviously, in the geocaching app. But if you cache that data, and I'm sorry, I'm using the same word in multiple meanings.
If you cache the cache data.
If you cache the map data to the caching program.
Right.
I mean, if you cache Google map data, will it pull up in the geocaching app if you don't have live data coming? I don't know. I don't think so. But who am I to know?
Well, I think the bottom line is that what they need to do is make it easier on apps such as CGeo, or make the geocaching app work with offline maps in a much more transparent and easy way, such as apps like CGeo have done. The fact that you can just go tap a button, say use this map, and you've previously downloaded an offline map, or it has a list of offline maps right there. You just tap it, boom, you're using an offline map. I've already downloaded my list. I'm good to go. I mean, that's how we geocached when we were in Cuba. Had everything all preloaded, ready to go. Didn't have to bring a GPS into the country. Everything was on the cell phone.
Right.
And they're almost there, but if they don't have the maps working offline, then I don't understand the real value of downloading the caches.
I do remember in the classic geocaching app, you remember the old one?
Yeah.
When you downloaded a cache to the app, geocache listing, it would also ask you, do you want to download the maps? And it would grab, I don't know, a chunk of map around the geocache and download that. So if you were in a city, pretty good high density of caches, you could download an offline map to go along with it. I don't see that now in the new one.
Well, there you go. Well, speaking of maps, I think one of the things I looked at, I thought it was interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet, but I noticed the functionality when you do download a pocket query, download a list. It caught me. When you download a list, like we were talking about that you can do, and you bring it up on the map, the functionality to me really looks a lot like Cider. I don't know if you guys remember how when Cider put the maps out, that there'd be like areas that would have a high density of caches. So in Cider, a high density of sites, but in geocaching or app, areas that have a high density of caches from your list are shown overlaid on the map as green bubbles with an approximate number of the caches that are within that zone or that area. You can then zoom in, select a cache by tapping on it. And one of the things I thought was cool, and I think this is just a general geocaching or app function that's already there, but I did like it for noobs. I think it's really good. If it's something other than a traditional cache, the first time you select it, it actually explains that it may not be at the listed coordinates, which I thought that's a good touch, because
that's great for noobs. It annoys the snot out of me every time I go to open an Earth cache. It says, "Hey, let's watch a video." No, I don't want to watch a video.
Does it do it every time?
Every time.
Oh, see, I don't use the geocaching app enough. I just thought it was just the first time.
You really should. No.
Well, now I'm even more not going to until they fix that.
Yeah,
because that would drive me nuts.
And as a premium member, that should be turned off. And when you get close to it, whether you have it on silent or not, it goes ding. You're getting close. Put down the phone and start looking. Like, oh no, you didn't.
I'm going to go make a suggestion that the app automatically take those videos and download them for offline playback.
Okay.
Just on your phone.
Just on Chris's phone. Nice.
Oh boy.
I would like to make a suggestion that you can replace those apps with your own playlist of, Funk Soul Brother, or, clips from
Funky Cole Medina.
Let's say clips from the IT crowd, or, whatever other videos you want to play instead.
Yes. Wet Coaster says, stop the videos and turn off that stupid bell. Now,
or just don't use the geocaching app.
Yeah, that info would have been good when I started. And I agree. When I first got the app and I was like, oh, this is nice. This is very good newbie information. Great intro. Give me a switch. Turn that off.
I did not realize that you can't turn that off. Because I've only just used it a little bit just to play around and check out the maps and such. I did not realize that it continues to do that. That would drive me absolutely nuts.
Yes.
And considering all the other great headway they're making with the geocaching app, it seems like an oversight.
Right. It used to be called the intro app, which, and then, I completely understand. But yeah, it's really annoying. Maybe if you become a premium member, that should turn off, right? Because then you know enough that you're willing to pay the $30 a year.
That's a fair cop.
So, B Pendragon says, get some trance music in there for searching.
Yeah, that's,
and IHAM says, thank you for calling IT. Have you tried turning it off and back on again?
Have you tried turning it off and on again? Yes, exactly. One thing I found when I was playing around with the geocaching app and lists is that, like a lot of people, when I first started caching, I was introduced to the idea of creating a solved puzzles list, which is great. And if people don't do that, they really should, because that is a super useful little trick to have. But one weird anomaly I found, that's my largest of all my lists, is my solved puzzles list.
Is it over 1,000?
No, it's under 1,000.
Okay.
Because once we find one, we delete it off the solved puzzles list. It's just solved. It's basically solved and not yet found puzzles. Anyways, that all said, on the website, there is one instance of that list because we only made one instance of that list. On the geocaching app, that list shows up twice. For some reason, it's at the top of my list, and I think it's because the list by default sorts by volume. A volume of caches in the list, but there's two instances of it that have the exact same number of caches in either list. The only difference between the two is one list has the option to delete the list and the other doesn't. So I have not figured out what that's all about yet, but it seems glitchy to me. So I think there's something unique about that list versus all my other lists that has triggered a bug in the system.
You found a glitch in the matrix.
Oh. Well, it is in beta, I remember.
Yes, it is.
Well, there you have it. List. It's a start. I mean, we're talking very early on in lists and integration with apps. So, but I think it's a good start. As longtime geocaching.com users, we prefer things one way, the right way. And
Our way.
our way. And I'm sure that will happen over time as geocaching.com gets us to think differently. And suddenly that becomes our way. Oh, wait. Is Big Brother watching?
I was going to say, you're starting to sound like the bad cop again.
It'll be double plus good soon. Don't you worry about it.
Starting to sound like every Facebook update ever.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate the new Facebook.
Exactly. And then they create a Facebook group that says, I hate the new Facebook. Give us back the old one.
That you hated when it was the new Facebook.
I think the Facebook group that we're looking for here is called Geocachers Anonymous.
Oh, there you go. I think there is one.
There is. That's what I'm talking about. That's the one where you can go and make these posts.
Oh. And
all right.
You have to use your name on Facebook, so you're not really anonymous.
It's not as anonymous as it seems. Yeah. Anyways, that can be a fun Facebook group. But that all aside, I think that's about all we have to cover on this. We've played around with it for you guys, took an early look. We want you guys to get in there, play around with it, see what bugs you can find, see what new tricks you can come up with to make the new list features work better in your geocaching workflows, and share it with us. Tell us about your experiences with lists, with the new list features on the website, in the geocaching app, and how you find it interacts with your current geocaching workflow and what changes you need to make.
Love it. That's exactly what everyone needs to do. In fact, go ahead and stop listening to this podcast right now and go start making lists on apps, on websites, wherever. Make a list of geocaches right now. We'll wait for you. Go ahead. You hit the pause button. We'll be here. And we're still here. Thank you very much for going out and doing that for us.
Yeah, how'd that list turn out? Make sure to email us about it.
And along with any glows. But until then, where can people find us upon the interwebs? Land Monkey, we'll start with you.
Well, thank you very much. As always, landmonkey.blogspot.ca, and Twitter, Instagram, and Periscope are at LandMonkeyGC. On Facebook, we're Team LandMonkey, and on YouTube, just search for Land Monkey and you will find some of our geocaching adventures. How about you, my friend Wits End?
I don't even know where to find myself, so good luck. Just look around. I'm Wits End most places. Here, there, and everywhere. How about that?
That works for me.
And it still says TBC in this one, but it's CNW.
Yes, how about that? Rest of the Northwest, you can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Google+. Just look for Caching NW. That's Caching NW. Right now, go ahead and call 1-800-CACHING NW. No.
But don't.
But don't. And you know what? We mentioned a lot of things. Head on over to cachingnw.com/host to read our bios and find out all the links that we just mentioned. And maybe a few more that we didn't mention.
Ooh.
You never know.
Yeah.
I stick things in there from time to time.
Ooh, I should go check.
That's how we roll.
Well, we've exhausted the list, and so until next week, we want to thank you, all of you on the list, for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Did you know you can be part of the show? Let me list the ways. Well, you can call 253-693-TFC, leave us a comment, ask us a question, and send us a nice list of stuff to talk about on the podcast anytime, day or night. Of course, you can email feedback@cachingnw.com. And did you know that your support helps to keep quality shows coming? If you like this show, please click the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website. This show is licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2016 by Chris Umfenauer. Oh, and if you're watching live or later on YouTube, stay tuned for some weird little thing coming up. I don't know what it's called there. That's it. That's the one.
Good night, folks.
Night all.
And we are clear of the recording.
Okay.
But that means
Nap
it's
time.
time for
The after show.
or nap time.
Or nap time. Oh, dear.
Oh, there's a little conversation between Stark Casher and Wet Coaster about how to use GSAC.
Cool.
right now, Wetcoaster uses pocket queries into GSAC. He's just not sure how to use this version of lists that will work with his or go into that workflow.
Well, I have to wonder if GSAC is going to release an update soon that will just enable you to grab the lists and import them directly.
It would still be using, see, now the pocket queries don't count against your API usage.
Right. And that's my concern, is that it's going to count against your API usage.
Right. So you can get can you get 1,000 hits on as a premium member a day?
Yes.
So if you have a list for 1,000 pocket queries or 1,000, you have a list of 1,000 geocaches and you go into GSAC and say, download these, that's going to use all your API hits for a day.
Right. So yeah, you are going to use them up that way doing that. So the ideal situation is if you can still download GPX files.
Oh, the limit is 6,000 a day. Well, you can still hit 6 lists pretty quick. Thanks, Star.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. But I mean, if you're using, if you've got several lists, 6,000 a day can get used up pretty quickly in something like GSAC.
It's true. It's really true. So hopefully it's not going to work that way, but we'll see.
Exactly.
I just like speculating worst case scenarios and inciting panic.
Ooh, panic incitation.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a word?
It is now.
Okay, so I've got to Google. Oh, wait. Before I get into that, B Pendragon says, Sounders FC update. Beat Sporting KC about 15 minutes ago. That's probably 20, 30 minutes ago now. 1-0 on the 88th minute goal by Valdez. Sporting KC eliminated. Sounders move on to Western Conference semifinals.
Oh, so they may be playing the Whitecaps at some point soon then. All right. And you realize that when you're talking about football, you have to say it's 1-0, not 1-0.
Oh. No, I did not know that. And if it's just one, do I only have to say that one long goal just once? Goal!
Yes.
And if it was like 7-0, we'd be here for a while.
Yes, we would.
Yeah.
Well, congrats to the Sounders.
Oh, 7-0. I get it. There's a few things I don't like watching on TV.
Mm-hmm. Golf.
Baseball and soccer and golf. If I'm live there, I've gone to a soccer match, loved it, watching it live. Baseball, love watching it live. There's so much more to see than what you get on TV. I don't know about golf. What you see is what you get on TV.
I don't know how people watch golf on TV. I honestly don't know how somebody could sit down and actually watch golf on the television. I can see how people could be interested in like the highlights that they show on, the sports channels and the news and such, but to actually sit down and watch golf, really?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It's mine.
What I can't imagine are the cameramen who can track the golf ball.
Up against the blue sky. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Little bitty screen.
Lots of practice.
They must.
All right.
But Sandy, you're quiet tonight.
I don't like golf either.
Okay.
I don't mind playing, but yeah, I cannot watch that sport.
I don't like to play either.
Oh, there you go.
It just doesn't do anything for me.
That's all right. To each their own.
Yeah.
Dora Moore says, I'm not naming names, but I know someone who once listened to a golf tournament on the radio.
Oh, dear.
She's probably got it on vinyl LP right there next to Marcel Marceau's greatest hits.
Oh, Iham says he's sitting here practicing with a lockpick set, getting ready to try some of the lockpicking caches in the South Sound.
Nice.
Nice. That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
More fun than watching golf.
Yeah. we had a chance to work on that at the Ape event.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
There was a table there of lock pickers.
nice. That's cool.
And yeah, I don't know. Maybe I got an easy lock, but it seemed to open up pretty quick for me.
Well done. Well done. So we've got to switch gears here. We've gone through the main items in the Q&A.
Yeah. Okay. I
You come on. You gotta
Google
bring
alert.
this up.
You can set a Google alert on a word, and anytime a new entry comes up into the database, it'll email you. And for me, I have geocaching. Who knew, right? I get this one today. Here. There's the link for you. It's from a Craigslist in Toronto. And the title is Anyone Up for Chastity Geocaching? Chastity Geocaching. And I'm thinking,
What could this be?
what could this be? Are they thinking, I want to go out geocache with people, but, no funny business. We just want to go out geocaching. Maybe then no. First sentence is the one that really threw me off. So I found a chastity device that I like, and I can see me in it for a few weeks, period. I'm like, what?
That got your attention.
Yeah. Beep and Dragon goes, what? So is there anyone out there who'd like to play a game? I would love to play a game of geocaching chastity.
How does one play a game such as geocaching chastity?
I put on my chastity belt. I put my chastity belt key somewhere, send you the GPS coordinates, and then you take the key, and in a day or two later, you put it somewhere accessible, and I retrieve the key, and we play again.
I also want to point out that this is in Oshawa, Ontario. The age is reported to be 33. The body type is big, and the height is 6'0" or 182 centimeters. Posted on the Craigslist Toronto Durham region personals casual encounters. Yeah, this seems fairly casual.
Yeah.
I looked at this and I go, either we got to talk about this, or I'm never mentioning it again.
Or we could do both.
Oh,
We can
well,
talk
let's
about
do
it
both.
and then we're never mentioning it again.
So there you go. Wow. I don't know what to say.
What we can say is be careful what you Google.
That's right.
Google can be your friend, but there's times you don't want to find things out in Google. We were talking before the show, saying, a chastity device. And I found one that's comfortable. I wonder what that looks like. Nope. I am not going to Google that.
No.
I am goes, wow. Just wow.
Yeah.
Yes, and if you've got a chastity device out there that you're fond of, do not call 253-693-TFTC. We don't want to hear about it.
Nope.
Definitely do not send us pictures to feedback@cashingnw.com.
Nor the coordinates to where you've hidden the key. Because we won't go looking for it.
White Coaster says there's all kinds of people in the world. We probably don't need those kinds of people. Let's put them on a list. Let's make a list of these people.
There you go.
An ignored list, shall we?
Yes.
Just push that to the side. We don't need these kind of people.
Oh dear. Yeah. So that was
might make Dora Moore. It might make for an interesting glow. Oh yes, it would.
Oh dear.
Oh, which Wet Coaster replies, "What if your chastity belt glows?"
Nope, nobody, nope.
Yeah. Oh man.
Wow.
There you go, my funk soul brothers.
I'm gonna go look at other. No, I don't want to look at any other casual encounters.
No, I think
Okay.
I think we've probably beaten that horse. I think we're good to go on that one.
Wow.
That was it was interesting. So that's a piece of news that we did not include during the main part of the show. But we thought that maybe, it could make for an interesting after show topic just because
No.
the things you get on Google.
Yeah, exactly. It was an innocent search. I mean, it pops up every day or 3. It's ran. Oh, what did Google pop up today? And that's how come some of the articles I get are like, oh, they're having a geocaching event this weekend. I was like, oh, I just found out about it. It popped up in a newspaper article for this weekend. I was like, well, sorry guys, here's something going on this weekend. You going anywhere? So
let's go. Well, we've got something going on. We've got a GIF event coming up soon. We're really excited about that. That'll be really good. And
we have to go release ghosts.
Yes, we have to go release ghosts this weekend. I think there's also it's either this weekend or it's on the Monday night, but there's a geocaching event aligned with some fireworks going on. So I guess it would have to be Monday night. I'm not sure. Can't remember how our laws work around here about that. But anyhow, that might be kind of a cool thing to go see. We'll see.
Wet Coaster says, update your Google alert to be geocaching minus chastity.
There you go.
Something you never thought you'd have to do.
Exactly. Oh, Startcacher agrees with us. We made a good choice not putting it in the main show.
Yeah.
The Pendragon says, I need some high quality brain bleach right now.
Yeah.
Not sure what that looks like or how you get it, but that would be good. Yes.
I'm sure Home Depot has it. 5-gallon quantities. Dora Moore says there's a Halloween event on Monday.
That's the one I'm thinking about. So that's on Monday. But yeah, so you could go to that event and get your souvenir.
Mm-hmm. So you can attend event or find a geocache or do both.
Well, and speaking of getting
one souvenir, well, you get 2 things.
Yeah. Speaking of getting things, we're almost at the end of our hashtag Who's the Bear contest.
Yeah. Oh, we forgot to mention that during the show.
That's all right.
Who's the bear?
We've got a large number of entries.
Good.
Really happy with that. And that means in very, very early November, we will announce who the bear is. And then, prizes will be awarded and
people will be, all over the world will be happy.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll be the net result. Oh, dear.
Do I want to mention Wet Coaster's last comment?
Nope.
Sorry, Wet Coaster. It's humorous, but I'm not going to say that.
This is still being recorded on the internet. That's right.
Chastity the bear.
Huh? Hashtag Who's the Bear? At Land Monkey GC. You never know, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to win.
Chastity is a good thing.
It is a good thing, but I don't think I want to refer to my bear as Chastity. That's all. It's a girl's name.
Oh, Chase.
Yeah, Chase the bear. That's funny. Oh dear. So yeah, that's about to wind up, and then we'll announce the winners. We got events coming up. That's going to get busy.
Oh yeah.
We're starting to think about what our next hashtag geocache road trip might look like.
You driving down the road?
That's definitely going to be involved. We're actually thinking of heading south next time.
Ooh, that's like this way.
That's like that way. Yes.
Well. Alrighty then, folks.
I think we've run out of things for the after show.
I keep going back to Wet Coaster's comment. It's time to move on.
All right. FTAS.
FTAS for the after show. Folks, thank you so much. Join us next week. And we have so much fun with you in the regular show and in
the after show.
We appreciate you. Until next week.
Take care.
Night all.